The sprawling new Noida campus of the Archaeological Survey of India's Institute of Archaeology was supposed to be a monument to New India. 7 years on, there is barely anyone to use it. Hello and welcome to The Print. This is Murari and I am going to tell you a story of ASI's ghost campus. For 26-year-old Kumar, the high point of his life was cracking one of India's toughest tests. He was one of just 25 students selected nationwide for the Institute of Archaeology. He walked proudly into the legacy institution in January 2024 with the aspiration to follow in the footsteps of many of the country's finest archaeologists. The Institute of Archaeology now has a gleaming new campus in Greater Noida. It even has a new name, Pandit Deendayal Upadhyay Institute of Archaeology. Sprawling across 25 acres and built at a whopping cost of Rs 289 crore, the four-story building features giant Harappan-style seals mounted on the outer walls. Its auditorium seats 900 and its library has over 20,000 books. When Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated it in March 2019, he said a new India was being created. But Kumar's sense of awe did not last. 7 years after it opened, it is still a ghost campus. For all its grandeur, the building only has one classroom in use on the top floor. Rather than academic offerings growing with the expansion of facilities, they have diminished. Since its inception, the Institute of Archaeology has run only one course, a postgraduate diploma in archaeology. This has now shrunk to a one-year course and faculty positions have not been filled yet. Any institute needs multiple courses and a full research system to succeed, said archaeologist Ramnath Phonia, former Additional Director General at the Archaeological Survey of India. An institute is not merely about awarding diplomas. A fully integrated approach is needed to overhaul the institute, Phonia added. Unlike most Indian educational institutions that struggle for better infrastructure facilities, the Institute of Archaeology has all the infrastructure but no follow-through. It now risks becoming a symbol of institutional drift where ambition collides with systematic neglect. For decades since its founding in 1959 under the academic wing of the ASI, the Institute of Archaeology functioned without a permanent home. It drifted through makeshift arrangements in Janpat, then Tilak Marg, then the Red Fort's colonial era barracks, which have since been turned into museums. What did not budge was the academic system despite former ASI Director General Nagaraja Rao attempting to overhaul it in 1985. Soon after, the Mirdha Committee recommended that the School of Archaeology function as a teaching and research institute. He held talks with JNU's Center for Historical Studies for formal recognition, but nothing came of it. Rao wanted to make things systematic, but he did not succeed as ASI officials did not want to lose their hold, said Phonia. The only permanent academic pressure becomes from ASI officials who double as instructors. Current Director Bhuvan Vikram, known for his excavations at Ahichhatra, and superintending archaeologist Gautami Bhattacharya, who served in the Patna Circle, bring their field experience into the classroom. But their primary roles are administrative. They act more as course coordinators, inviting guest scholars from across India to fill the gaps. For any academic institution of higher learning, permanent faculty is absolutely necessary, said Nayanjot Lahiri, professor of history at Ashoka University. You can't run a teaching program with scholars coming and giving lectures in a compressed format over a few days, she added. In decades past, even if the institute lacked a variety of courses, it did boast many instructors of note. The classrooms were led by luminaries such as the legendary museologist Sri Shivaramamurthy, J.P. Joshi, who discovered Dholavira, V.S. Vakankar, who discovered Bhimbetka caves, H.D. Sankalia, often called the founder of modern Indian archaeology, and B.B. Lal, a giant of Indian archaeology, now often associated with the Babri Masjid case. Multiple ASI officials who graduated from the institute told ThePrint that the scholarship began slipping after the early 2000s. Current ASI Director General Yadubir Singh Rawat pointed to a past practice in which visiting professors would schedule classes when they happened to be in Delhi for personal work, simply to have their travel and stay covered. This arrangement was inappropriate and significantly tarnished the institute's reputation, Rawat said. But no new golden era has dawned. Students face an unpredictable academic calendar with no fixed class timings. It all depends on which guest lecturer arrives. When Yaduvir Singh Rawat took charge as Director General of the 165-year-old ASI in 2023, after decades in Gujarat, he set about tightening what he deemed lax. One change was a new action plan under which excavation licenses would be issued only to applicants submitting a detailed plan for at least 3 years. Another was cutting the diploma at the Institute of Archaeology from 2 years to 1. Students selected for this course already have a master's degree. They do not need a 2-year course, Rawat, an alum of the 1982 batch, told ThePrint. When I joined, the condition of the institute and the academic performance were not good. They were just enjoying the luxury given by the institute. So I decided to make it more precise. Between 2019 and 2024, the Ministry of Culture allocated Rs 33.66 crores to the institute. Students get a monthly stipend of Rs 8,000 and a hostel room. The sum is deposited directly into students' bank accounts. Annually, the institute pays out around 14 lakh rupees in stipends. The Institute of Archaeology has long been involved in the country's most celebrated digs, from Rakhigadi in Haryana to Dholavira in Gujarat and Sanauli in Uttar Pradesh. The famous 4,000-year-old Sanauli chariot was stored at the Greater Noida campus for years before being shifted to the Delhi's National Museum last year. The institute's alumni have also occupied the top ranks of the ASI. B.M. Pandey, Y.S. Rawat, Sanjay Manjul. For decades, a diploma from the institute was effectively a golden ticket to the ASI itself. The agency's regional circles would hire assistant archaeologists directly from the institute because of their well-honed experience on the field. However, the institute is no longer a guaranteed path into the ASI. The architectural aesthetic of the Greater Noida campus of the Archaeology Institute is grand and not lacking in imagination. It blends tradition with the new seamlessly in both scale and theme. The building is based on the ancient principles of Vastu Shastra, almost square in geometry, with a Brahmasthan in the lobby displaying a replica of Sarnath's lion capital of Ashoka. The corridors are full of banners of the ASI's ambitious new excavation sites such as Sanauli, Binjore, Barnawa. A panel at the entrance declares the campus is designed on the principles of green building architecture and energy sufficient practices such as use of solar energy and water conservation. A towering statue of Bharatiya Jansangh leader Deen Dayal Upadhyay also stands at the entrance, and the museum is named after him as well. His image hangs on the museum wall with an information plate that reads, "Welcome to the world of geocultural nationalism." Deen Dayal Upadhyay has nothing to do with the field of archaeology. Indian archaeology has many stalwarts, but they choose to name the institute after a politician, complained an archaeologist and alumni who graduated a decade ago and has visited the campus many times. Despite all the ideological foregrounding and heavy investment, the campus looks desolate on most days. It's like a white elephant. Crores have been spent on the building, but the resources there have no use. It's a total waste of money, added the archaeologist quoted above. The institute's struggling present is a far cry from an illustrious past that began amid the ancient ruins of Takshila, now in Pakistan, in 1944. Their ASI Director General, Mortimer Wheeler, set up a training school after an annual meeting of 19 vice chancellors conveyed the urgent need to recruit university graduates into archaeological research. The response was to me astonishing, alike in quantity and quality, and was almost instant. Within a few weeks, more than 60 young graduates had assembled from all directions amid the inviting facilities of Takshila, wrote Wheeler in his memoir, My Archaeological Mission to India and Pakistan. One of the trainees under Wheeler was Bibi Lal, who in 1959 became the first director of the newly established School of Archaeology in independent India. Historian Devendra Handa recalled that during his 20-month training period, he spent a full year outside the campus. Even then, there was no permanent faculty, he said, but the guest lecturers were giants such as H.D. Shankalia and V.S. Wakankar. This institution produced a galaxy of archaeologists for the ASI, who later reached the top rank, said Rawat, adding that scholars from countries such as Myanmar, Sri Lanka, and Nepal would also come here and eventually lead their own national archaeological departments. Now, for many years, these international students have stopped coming. The degradation of the institute is not limited to scholarship. During Kumar's 2 years at the campus, students wrote multiple letters to the administration about the alarming conditions in the hostel mess, from insects nesting in utensils to rats roaming inside pots of cooked food. A quick trip to the kitchen and storeroom after hours shows rats rummaging through the larder, burrowing through the bags containing flour and rice, and playing tag on the kitchen counters, reads one of the letters accessed by ThePrint. Beyond the hygiene crisis, students have also written to the Director General for a hike in their monthly stipend, which has been unchanged for the last decade. Nothing happened, Kumar recalled. A telling sign of the institute's current state came when Rawat visited students at Agroha excavation site last month. He suggested a plan B for their career. I personally advise students not to rely solely on this course, but to also explore other emerging fields such as museology, he said, adding that new museums are opening across several states. Thank you for watching this video.